Nike's newest cushioning technology hits the pavement in the Epic React Flyknit. A simple Flyknit upper is paired with a full-length React midsole for comfort and energy return step after step. Let's take a look. Hey all, what is up? Reese here, and I've got a brand new sneaker pickup to show you. What we're looking at today is the Nike Epic React Flyknit in the college navy, racer blue, and pink blast colorway. These released on February 22nd, 2018 with a retail price of $150. Now as you're watching this review, I'd love for you to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this brand new silhouette from Nike. I'd love to hear if you're excited for these to release and also which of the first couple kind of previewed colorways we've seen you're really looking forward to. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and finally, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. Pretty much right away once Nike unveiled this shoe just a couple days ago on January 23rd, I knew that I had to pick up a pair of these. I love how they look, and obviously the brand has really been hyping up their new technology, but I was really intrigued by a lot of the things I was hearing about React and just pretty excited to grab a pair, both from a casual as well as a running specific perspective. Now, as I mentioned, this shoe in this particular colorway doesn't release until February 23rd. The first release that Nike's been touting of this shoe will be a white, gray, and blue colorway that's releasing exclusively on the Nike Plus app on February 5th. For some reason, however, I was in Denver this past weekend, so it was like January 27th, and I just happened to go into one of their Finish Line stores there, and they had these already for sale. I'm not exactly sure why. I never got a clear answer of if they chose to release them early, if Nike told them they could, or whatever the deal was. So I don't know if it's like a wider thing or if it was just a handful of stores, but regardless, I was really excited to see these on sale early, and obviously had to pick up a pair so I could kind of start learning about them and share my thoughts with you. Getting into the shoe itself, this is really meant to be the future of Nike running. Now, as far as the upper is concerned, however, we really have a pretty simple formula here of a one-piece Flyknit upper. It's definitely a case of if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. Nike says that the design is kind of meant to pay tribute to the Flyknit racer, although one big difference here is there's no separate tongue, so you do have that kind of booty construction, and it's what we've seen a lot of times with these one-piece Flyknit uppers, where you have a bit more stretchy Flyknit around the collar and through the tongue, so you can get into them easily, you can get the fit that you want, but then you have more kind of structural support around the toe and around the sides of the foot, where you don't want it to be stretching quite as much. The real story here, of course, is the React foam that makes up the midsole. Now, this is not the first shoe to feature React. That honor goes to the Hyperdunk 2017, as well as the Jordan Superfly 2017, which were both basketball-specific models that feature React cushioning. The big difference there is, in both of those cases, it was actually an encased section of React, and so that's just part of the midsole and outsole setup. What we have here is just one giant slab of React, and that's truly all there is. Nike says there's no carrier materials, no glue, no cement, nothing else. It's just a single piece of foam, and this is a foam that they worked pretty hard to develop. I think they said they tried like 400 plus different combinations or recipes of ingredients to really come up with a new and better foam to replace Lunarlon, which has kind of been the standard foam cushioning from Nike for a while now. Now, as far as React compares to Lunarlon, Nike actually gave us some percentages to be able to do a comparison. Specifically comparing the Epic React to the Lunar Epic Low Flyknit 2, this cushioning setup is 11% softer, 10% bouncier, and features 13% more energy return. And that all comes in a package where the entire shoe actually weighs 5% less than the Lunar Epic 2. So it's cool to see that they really were able to get all of the numbers of the things that you care about in a running shoe up while not sacrificing anything, even in terms of weight. The fact that they were able to keep these even lighter is really cool, because this is an incredibly light shoe, especially when you compare it to something like the Ultra Boost. Now, another big focus of React foam, beyond just some of those increases in the softness and the bounciness, was the durability aspect. One of the biggest problems with Lunarlon, especially in running shoes, is that it has a tendency to kind of wear out over time, and so you'll get to the point where you've compressed it so much that it won't actually kind of go back to its original shape. And so you're losing out on both some of the original softness and the original bounciness. They worked really hard to find a foam that will kind of keep its properties longer through its life. One of the tests they actually did was give some of their test runners shoes that had React foam that had been run in for about 500 miles, and then they would go run it in. They asked them how many miles they thought the shoes had on them, and the answers ranged from 0 to 100. So hopefully that translates into the real world and we see some pretty good performance throughout the entire life of this shoe. Along with that, they also changed up the platform of this shoe a little bit to prevent bottoming out, where you kind of compress the foam all of the way. What we have here is a foam base that's a little bit wider than the footbed, especially at the heel. It sticks out to the back and to the sides, so when you're compressing it, you still have a nice, stable platform. Now, the numbers and information from Nike are nice to know, but I was really curious how these actually stack up in the real world, so I spent some time comparing these just casually to both the original Nike Lunar Epic as well as the Adidas Ultra Boost. I basically was wearing the Epic React on one foot, and then I would rotate between the Lunar Epic and the Ultra Boost on the other, just so I could get a good comparison. Now, compared to the Lunar Epic, I was surprised at how much softer the Epic React was. You felt more of like that bounce back with the Lunar Epic, but that honestly was pretty close to what you felt with the Epic React. The ride was just a little bit more plush, which I really wasn't expecting because I already enjoyed how the Lunar Epic feels just kind of casually. Compared to the Ultra Boost then, these definitely don't feel quite as soft. The Ultra Boost is also just a bit smoother in terms of its softness throughout your entire step, but you do get a little bit more of that bounce or kind of spring in your step with these. And so honestly, it was pretty close, and I don't think people who enjoy the Ultra Boost are going to be disappointed with these because it's overall pretty comparable, and I think a lot of people will be able to add both of them to their collection pretty happily. With all that said, we'll dive now into a close-up view where we can take a look at the colors, materials, and everything going on with this sneaker. Getting into the shoe itself, we'll start with the upper. You've got that one-piece Flyknit upper in navy, and just like pretty much every Flyknit upper we see, you've got a lot of variability in the stitching. You can see the top of the toe is wide open for breathability, and then you've got a much tighter pattern here around the toe box where you need some durability, and that kind of continues along the side. You can see you've got some black threading kind of mixed in there as well to add just a little more personality to the colors on the shoe. The swoosh and the eyelets are a navy blue fuse on top of the Flyknit, and then you've got flat navy laces right there. There's no branding at the top of the tongue, but you can see this is where that Flyknit gets really stretchy all the way through the middle of the tongue as well. And then the collar, so you can really slip these on easily and kind of get that fit that you want without having to do a whole lot with the laces. You've got this blue heel cup right here with some reflective striping right there at the heel, and then lowercase Nike branding on the medial side. You also have Flyknit branding right there on the fuse on the medial side. Then we have this yellow pull tab with Epic React right there. Inside the shoe, you've got a blue insole with a pink Nike swoosh. Now the insole is pretty thin, but again, they're kind of relying on the React cushioning here, so you don't need a super cushioned insole. And then finally, you've got this kind of hard plastic piece providing a little extra support wrapping around the heel in pink. On the lateral side, you've got Nike React branding right there, and then you've got a swoosh looking down from the top. And this is where you can see how wide the React is around the heel, just so you get that good stable base even as the foam compresses. Now, speaking of the React, you can see we've got a very, very thick midsole. As I mentioned, the shoe is actually really light, but you can see it's just even at the front where you've got that 9mm offset from the heel. There's a lot of material there, and that's to help with that concept of bottoming out so you don't compress the foam all the way. There's meant to be a lot of foam there just so you can kind of keep going and keep compressing. The React itself is done in like an off-white or maybe a really, really light gray. And you've got this interesting pattern running along the side. This is a computer-driven design, and it's taken from a lot of data from athletes and kind of their running motion, and it's meant to kind of help the foam compress in the right ways for the kind of normal running and foot movement motion. Flipping to the outsole, you'll see there isn't much of one. You've got kind of that same computer pattern running through there. And this entire middle section is just exposed React. Again, that is a testament to the durability of the material. You do have some rubber here at the toe and at the heel just for a little added durability, as well as extra traction in some of those high wear areas. It's got a cool kind of fade from an icy blue to a translucent that looks pretty neat. With all that said, that's going to wrap it up for our look at the Nike Epic React Flyknit. If you haven't already, let me know down below if you're excited for these, whether it's for casual use or for running. With all that said, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.